So I just finished all 24 episodes of Mato Seihei no Slave and I was very surprised. I mean, not in a good way, but not in a bad way either. You see, I've never really liked the ecchi genre. For me, the entire category seemed like an excuse to edge prepubescent boys and prey on their beastly desires without giving them the satisfaction of seeing the full thing. And whenever I say this, people go, oh yeah, sure buddy. The same guy who makes 30-minute videos on gooner shit is telling us he doesn't like ecchi? Yeah. I don't. Want me to be honest? If I wanted to watch anime breasts, I wouldn't be going to 9 Anime. There is another much healthier option. An option that doesn't require me to receive blue balls because they have all episodes of Masterpiece available. But people swore to me to check out Chain Soldier or Mato Seihei no Slave if you're feeling more Japanese. And I gotta say, I'm kinda glad they recommended it to me. Now before I talk about it further, I'ma just preface that I started with only watching the anime. And to do a quick little review, I just want to say that I was surprised and really enjoyed the quality of the action sequences that they brought out to my screen. But then I posted about how I started on my Instagram and some people told me, hey, you're honestly better off reading the manga instead because the fight scenes are much more dynamic there. But then I hear from someone else that I shouldn't read the manga because it's more convoluted while the anime fleshes out the characters more and certain actions from certain characters make more sense because the manga used to do a bit of rushing to move the plot forward. But then people say that the fan service is better in the manga, but then the anime watchers say that the anime does it better. And then they're like, yeah, but this girl's nipples have a darker tone, but the anime shows that it's more pink. And they're like, yeah, but at least now this girl's honkers are bigger. And I'm like, wait, do the color of the nipples actually matter to the plot? And they're like, okay, well he should just watch whichever is best for him. But people are like, no, he should watch what we want him to watch because it's his job. And now I'm confused because while all of this is happening, I'm just watching Masterpiece for the 5th time, which is arguably the better piece of fiction. So, yeah, I guess I'm reviewing both. Welcome to Japan, a place where monsters roam around and women of all ages are given powers so long as they eat the gummy devil fruits. Meanwhile, the men, don't have that. Meet our main character, Albert. He's good at every house chore there is, but one day he's like, I wish I could have powers, cause then I can go and kill all the monsters in the world and get myself a harem. And then the world was like, hey, heard you was talking shit. Oh my god, I'm so in love. I'm not being sarcastic by the way, she is actually really sick. Look at how she pummels through these mammoths. So what happened to Albert was a random encounter where certain areas just suddenly transport them to this place where these monsters live. And while Albert is saved by Silvery Girl over here, there were actually a few kids who accidentally got sucked into it too. Oh hey, look, more women. This girl can scout the area? That's pretty cool. This woman can get big? Hell yeah. Awesome. And this chick can turn her hand into a fucking machine gun. That is one of the coolest powers I have ever seen in my life. Well, what's Sylvie's power? She seemed to be the leader of this trio, so she has to be pretty powerful, right? Well, it turns out she can make any of these monsters into her slave, and whenever she's done with that slave, she has to reward them with something the slave wants. Huh, cool. Let's see it in action. Speaking of which, one of those kids is in trouble now, so let's go and save her. Whoa!
私一人ならどうとでもなるが桃の恩恵我ながら本当に外れの能力だったな
Okay, maybe she's not that powerful. I've worked so hard for this. I wanted to get my revenge and become the supreme commander of North Korea. I am not about to end my life here. Hey, Alberto! Actually, my name is Albert.
Actually, my name is
Alberto! Become my slave. Okay, wait, really? Yeah, why not? Huh. Alright, let's do it then. Wait! Where did my penis go? We can worry about that later. Let's fucking kill this shit! Let's go! Hey. You did pretty good out there. Oh, shucks. Thanks, but it was nothing. Huh. Why did she just do that?
能力の代償。私は主として働きに見合った褒美を。
I mean, shit, why not? Oh yeah! Now that's what I'm talking about. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I can show any of this on YouTube. So from this interaction, she's found herself the perfect slave. And in order for her to get stronger, she would need to have him by her side. So she's like, hey, come join our squad. And he's like, yeah, sure. And so the series continues with these two being our lovely interactive duo. Now at this point, I do want to point out something real quick. When Albert asks if she's okay with doing these rewards, she says it's cool because she knows he's not a bad person since he went out of his way to save this girl from being decimated. But in the manga, turns out that scene didn't exist. And when asked the same thing, Sylvie just said, for some reason I don't dislike you. I'm sorry, what? You mean to tell me you didn't mind making out and rubbing your entire body all over a dude you just met a few minutes ago? Yeah, I think we can all agree that the anime did it better here. So later on, we learn that Sylvie's powers can extend to a point where she can lend her slave to another person, and when they do, Albert's monster form can transform into something else. This is dope because we get to see Albert morph into something we haven't seen before, but it's also cool because we get to see Albert morph with someone we haven't seen before. Since anytime any of these girls finish using Albert, they will eventually have to give him his rewards regardless of what they want. So this is pretty much a setup for the main character to have his very own ecchi moments with other members of the fighting force. Oh no. No! Bad anime! Bad anime! Oh, thank God. And I want to make my case here. This is something I don't mind. I criticize ecchi because I've always felt like their fanservice doesn't play a purpose, but this feels like a smart way to have our boy bond with other characters while also playing into their power system and having their own unique way of including the ecchi. Later on, we get an arc where Albert is lent over to Greenie Girl over here, who's been challenged to a duel by her older sister who's been bullying her since she was young, and in order to do that, they needed to do a lot of training. A lot of training. And during these trainings, they change their relationship from this girl wanting to slit his throat for even speaking to someone who thinks, hey, he's actually not that bad. And it's not just because they've slobbered all over each other at this point, but it's because Albert genuinely wanted this girl to succeed and tried his best to make them both stronger. That's why when the fight actually happens and Greenie actually bests over her superior older sister, the reward she gives him no longer feels like an awkward ecchi moment where they go, nani? But rather, an action that's filled with actual compassion and gratitude towards a partner that's earnest about helping them. And you can also see this with the other girls. Yellow Girl starts crushing on Albert because he touched a part of her that she's never felt before. Pinkie Pie, who's been forced to live a life of danger at such a young age, has a cute moment with him where she learns to be a kid again. Sylvie finally finds the perfect partner, a breakthrough from the stagnant that she suffered from her lacking abilities, and now with him, she feels like there's an actual chance of realizing her dream. Oh, her? Yeah, she's just doing this for the love of the game. Now, there are a lot of girls in this anime. Like, a lot. But there is a reason most of the fans love this girl more than the rest of the cast. We're gonna call this girl Mommy T. In a world where all these girls are the type to be, ooh woo, please dominate me, senpai, we have a woman who's like, damn, he cute. Alright, he's mine now. And I've said this time and time again, but I will always prefer these types of women. Listen, we as men are all stupid and dumb creatures. We are so depraved of compliments that a lot of times we don't know when we're being flirted to or not. But we need women like Mommy T, who leave no grounds for confusion, who straight up start flirting with you as soon as she walks into the same space as you. A woman who goes to your room while you are sleeping without your consent and says that she will...
可愛い年下だから今は癒しのペットって感じだけどね。君がたくましく育ってくれれば甘えちゃうかも。
Groom you? Yeah, she is perfect. I mean, realistically, what the fuck am I gonna do about it? In case you don't know, like Sylvie, Mommy T is also the commander of a team, and for good reason. Apart from her mommy leader qualities and teaching her subordinates on how to improve, she's also a fucking beast. And you're like, okay, well, Sylvie is already a dummy mommy leader who's strong. What's the point of having two? Which is kind of a gay argument if you think about it. But the one thing Mommy T has over Sylvie is aura. Sylvie has aura, don't get me wrong, but the way she handles her opponents, her sick-ass one-liners, the way she beat her boss fight without breaking a sweat while opening a fucking black hole? Yeah, nah. I'm sorry, but she's won me over in way less screen time than Sylvie. Now before we move on, I want to share some of my criticisms. I mentioned how I like the action, but sometimes it's a bit lacking. When you compare the anime with the manga, I have to say that the art in the original is a joke. Sometimes I'd be looking at these panels and forget that this is the same show where the main character licks a woman's boot to get his powers. And while the animation is good, I think it's not the ideal quality I'm looking for. And it's pretty unfair, like, it's not the studio's fault that the mangaka decides to fucking cook this hard for an ecchi. The studio is probably just trying to capitalize on the titties, but unfortunately, the fans like the show for much more than that. At least I think so. Because the next criticism I have about the action has nothing to do with the anime production, and that's the fact that I just feel like they're holding back. These are women who dedicate their life to live in the front of constant war. I would expect them to do more, but for me, it seems like they're a bit too refined. Like if you watch my videos on this manga about female fighters, I praise it for the girls' lack of restriction. When they want to go feral, they'll go apeshit. And I just kinda wish these girls showed a bit more savagery. You know what I mean? Punch her in the titty! But who knows? Maybe that's just because this season hasn't showed these girls being at their last legs or something, so they haven't showed any reason to really go all out. Maybe they'll show it in season 2. Well, with that being said, I really enjoyed season 1, so let's go and jump into it. No, Mom, wait! I'm watching this for research! Season 2 is where we get the introduction of more characters that end up being, well, pretty much an overflow of waifus. So basically, apart from Sylvie and Mommy T, there are 6 to 7 more chiefs that we haven't been introduced to. And I don't know what metrics they use to choose the chiefs, because apart from them being like the leaders in strength or whatever, they're also cute as fuck. Like seriously, every single one of these chiefs can easily be the best girl in any other anime. Belle, the girl failure who's super shy and is always bullied by other people. Hey, is anybody thinking of Kobeni right now? Varvara being the kudere who is all quiet like Hayasaka, aka the best girl in Kaguya-sama. Mira, the badass, super strong woman that is actually super innocent when it comes to romance. Wow, really reminds me of Erza and how much everybody simps over her in Fairy Tail. But don't get me wrong, cause I'm not saying they're copies, just that these girls in another anime would be GOAT status. Not to mention the other chiefs being super charming in their own unique way while still maintaining the best girl material. Like Konomi, a bright cheerful girl just doing her best to rise up to expectations which makes you want to root for her. Or Yakumo, this sultry lady, trying to achieve a bisexual harem because fuck yeah, why not? And Fubuki,
可愛い子ね。私も男の子一人ぐらい欲しかったわ。
え？吹雪さんはひまりと八千穂の母親だ。
Switching sides.
Alright y'all, I'm locking in with Fubuki as my best girl. Sorry, best woman. Oh, Kiwi, you always go monkey brain whenever a MILF is involved. It's getting predictable. Shut up, okay? I don't tell you on what to like, so leave me and my Milky MILFs alone. And before the Tenka cult come after me, let me just say my piece on why I don't think of her as my best girl. Mommy T is a bit too perfect for my liking. Oh no, my lobster is too juicy and my steak is too butter. Yeah, actually, I don't like my shit with excessiveness. It just seems like she's built to be way too good to be true. I mean, yeah, a power where you get rewarded with ecchi antics according to your worldly desires is unrealistic, but is well within the world building. Personality is not. This girl likes her man, who constantly touches other women, lets him do whatever he wants, stalls her earnest confession, and despite this, still wants to dedicate her entire being for him because... what? Like, I genuinely don't know. If it was a little crush, fine. But she is yandere levels obsessed with this man without the toxicity of it, and there isn't any reason to. Like legit, she saw him for the first time and skipped 300 plus chapters of romantic development. I don't mind women who are super in love with the main character, but I'd want to understand why. Because if I don't, I would just assume that it's a scammer play. Like, okay lady, I am not giving you my intestines. For you though.
おいで。
my soul is yours for the taking. Leave me alone, okay? She's S tier. T is a mommy, but Fubuki is a mommy with all caps. And it's not only because of that, she literally has 2 spots in my top 5 favorite scenes in the entire series, which I'll talk about later, because for now, I'm gonna be her lawyer and tell you guys about why she is my GOAT. Her power and stern leadership is insane. The way she commands respect out of everyone gets me off my seat, along with her love for her daughters, which isn't like the typical mommy characters from other animes. You first get the impression that she's an abusive parent with the way she's so strict with her daughters, yet as time goes on, we realize she only acts that way for them to get stronger and show her soft side whenever they aren't looking. This shit is my weakness. A character that does acts of kindness without the others knowing? Peak. The motherly way she intends to change her toxic family from the ground up, her boss bitch scene where she stood up against her own mom, someone known to be a legend in the family, just for her to humble her and say, bitch, I'm the legend in the family now. And this scene, oh my fucking god, this scene. FYI, it's not in my top 5, but the way she pulls you in, encourages you for your hard work, yet gives you the leeway to slow down and take a break when you need to. This is peak mommy. Literally everything she's doing is the ideal in what I look for in my type of mommies. Not only a great comfort character for me to watch, but also a great character herself with how she's so well written in terms of power, charms, iconic material, and character writing. She is peak. Alright bro, we get it. Just say that you like her because she has the biggest honkers out of everyone. That is not completely untrue.
I'm from DC. I got pajamas on at 2 a.m.
I'm gonna be honest.
What other motherfucker you know?
I'm only looking at your titties right now.
But come on, it's not like the bazookas are everything.
私の対策はできていると言ったわね。無意味よ。今でも成長しているから。
Wait, you're still growing? Alright, so at least you have Mommy T as your second favorite, right? Yeah. Nah. You know, when I started reading the manga halfway through season 1, they started hyping up the Supreme Commander as this deity to look out for. And I'm not gonna lie, I was like, okay, whatever. I know what type of series this is, I know what I'm here to see, my expectations are very low. But then I watched season 2, and I realized this bitch has more aura than Gojo. And I'm not kidding, by the way. For some reason, this ecchi anime managed to create one of the coolest, overpowered characters I have ever seen in my entire life. Her first appearance is her coming out, sitting on a throne. That's aura. And not long after that, we get to see that she didn't become the chief of chiefs for no reason. Instead, we seriously get to see why. Literally nobody wants to fuck with her. A group of terrorists come by and disrupt the meeting, so she starts flying, which is already a what the fuck, because what do you mean you can fly? But she also starts beaming like a Saiyan, arrives like a fucking boss. Goo number 1 tries to turn her into stone, but doesn't work because she said so? Then Goo number 2 throws a fireball from her mouth, to which she kicked back to her and killed her! So they throw Hannibal Lecter over here, who presumably has superhuman strength, to which she beats up with her bare hands. I'm sorry, you're Rock Lee too now? Then this girl said, yeah, but are your titties bulletproof? So she shoots hundreds of bullets, to which she slaps away with ease. Then this girl is like, heh, but my power is to explode, so I'm going to blow myself up and take you with me. And she said,
子供の頃、ネットで辺境の地図を見てワクワクしていたわ。そこに何かがあるかもしれない。見てきてくれる？絶海の底を。
did you just... Okay, I've seen enough. Put her against Goku. Yeah, Sylvie, I don't know what the fuck you think, but you are not gonna overtake her. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. By this point, we have only spent 5 minutes with her, and in 5 minutes, she has managed to show everyone why she is the GOAT of this series. Fubuki is my GOAT, as always, but Ren, she is the GOAT. She is so goated that she has my favorite scene in the entire series. And with that segue, let me just tell you about my top 5 scenes real quick. Number 5, Tenka taking back Albert behind the villain's back super nonchalantly. This was pretty funny and cool. Number 4, the Oyakodon scene. This is when I realized this anime has no shame and no limit in what they want to do. Also, it's just really peak for multiple reasons. Number 3, Mira gaining the respect of a literal god. When I read this scene, I was shocked at how a female character can make me feel so manly. Number 2, Fubuki walking into her daughter giving Albert his reward, and her reaction was...
続けなさい。
This is when I knew that I'd fallen in love with her. An honorable mention, Greenie Girl popping off and pulling a golden hour. I unironically gasped when I saw this. And finally, number 1 is when the squad is struggling as they fight against the strongest foe the Earth has ever seen. Reinforcements after reinforcements come down, yet they still need more help, so they pleaded for Ren to join in. But wait, Ren is too busy having a meeting in Epstein Island, but she said, don't worry, I got this, and sent a beam from the other side of the world to Japan. A beam so powerful that it immediately beat the big monster they had no idea how to handle, and she did all of that without breaking a sweat. This scene is absolute cinema. And also, why is the music so damn good here? Close enough. Welcome back, Hiroyuki Sawano. Fine, that's a good argument, we'll concede. But at least Mommy T is your third favorite. No, that goes to Mira. Oh, fuck off! You know, I just realized that this entire video has just been me explaining where I stand in the waifu wars of this anime. Okay, fine. Let me do one last review before we end off the video. This anime has great action, great world building, and unnecessarily good writing. What do I mean by that? Well, the action is pretty self-explanatory, but in terms of world building and writing, some characters have dark pasts, and I like how the good guys have a sort of shadow society where they sacrifice a few innocent people to save the many. The relationships done in the show are also done really well. An underrated character would be someone like Greenie, who gets a lot of good moments throughout both seasons. But I think because it has so many characters, a lot of them start to feel underused. Pinkie Pie has some good material, but apart from getting those hints, we barely see her or her story in season 2 at all. Blondie is also at a point where I don't know how they can include her in the story anymore because she's just too useless or just doesn't fit into the story anymore. Some of the writing also doesn't make a lot of sense, especially when it comes to the character of Albert's sister. If you haven't watched the anime and me talking about it is your first exposure to it, this is probably a very confusing moment. But yes, Albert has a sister that starts as an antagonist that wants to destroy the corporation that the chiefs are working in. There came a point where they were about to fight, but Albert said, "Yamete kudasai!" Mina, why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? And she's like, "Oh, my ototo, I just can't say no to you, can I?" And stops fighting to respect her brother. But then 3 pages later, she starts fighting them again. That scene was fucking useless. Well, anyways, they eventually stopped fighting because another enemy came over and took away her friends, so she had no choice but to stop her plan of destroying the corpse. But this also led to her just stopping the operation altogether. Why? Okay, I guess she has to focus on saving her friends now, but why wouldn't she continue to destroy the corpse that terrorized her and her friends? Like, I'd argue that once you got your friends back, you would have a better chance at destroying the corpse, right? But other than that, who cares? This is meant to be just some dumb fun that hits on your horny feels, and just because it has some flaws doesn't mean that it exceeds my expectations in a lot of other factors. This season has been stacked with many new animes and banger sequels, and I have to say that this series is included in that category. I really enjoyed Mato Seihei no Slave. Will I continue reading the manga after this? I don't know. Probably. I'm kinda tempted to just wait for season 3 to drop, but so far, this has been a very pleasant journey that I do not mind revisiting whenever I have the time. So I'm gonna give Chain Soldier a very good score of 8 out of 10. Was that? You want me to rate the girls? Okay, fine. Number 1, Fubuki. Number 2, Ren. Number 3, Mira. Plus points because she's the only girl who is actually savage. Punch her in the titty! Yeah! Number 4, Tenka. Number 5, and this might be a bit of a shocker, but I actually really like Yachio. I think she's super underrated in both seasons. Number 6, Kyoka. Number 7, Himari. Number 8, Kusetsu. Number 9, Shikoku. Number 10, Nei. She's super adorable, but doesn't have a lot going on. Number 11, Tobera is honestly pretty badass, but she only has like 2 scenes in all 2 seasons, so RIP. Number 12, Yakumo, I guess? I mean, she'll probably start popping up in season 3, so I'm not crazy about her at all. Number 13, Aoba and her 2 goons. Honestly, I feel the same way for all of them. Number 14, Sahara. Number 5, Shushu. Number 16, Maya. Number 17, Homare. And the rest are whatever because I haven't seen enough of them. Alright, I hope that list isn't too controversial. Alright y'all, hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you want the uncensored version of this, then go and check out my Patreon at KiwiLol. And if you can't find it after searching, just FYI, you gotta have an account first because it is hidden by filters since it is an page. Yeah, people seem to not know how to do that. I also made the announcement last video that I swore that I'm gonna start streaming on this channel, but that video got deleted by YouTube, so I got busy fighting YouTube to get that video back, which failed, and also from making this video, so I didn't have any time to stream again. But I swear to God, I will stream this week. I promise. So go and sub to that channel, and also follow my Instagram where I'll announce it whenever I go live. Alright, I don't think I have anything else left to say, so I'm gonna leave this video here. Bye!